What's going on? I want to welcome everybody to the Kingdom Podcast. I think this is episode 4 or 5. I think this is 5 that we're going on, and I want to let everybody know I appreciate y'all for coming and tapping in, spending a little bit of your Sunday with us, um, and giving us opportunity to go over a couple of things market related, share our insights with you guys on upcoming events, previous events, and just overall what we think about the market going into this following week. First and foremost, I got a couple of the Kingdom podcast analysts with me. I got Fridge Financials, I got M Finance, New Fish Big Pond, Parunga, and Trying to Make It. They're all going to be a part of tonight's podcast episode, Roundtable Talk. And we're going to go ahead and dive straight into it. I do want to let you guys know everything that we look at tonight, everything that we're buying or that we're looking at investing in. These are all of our ideas. This isn't financial advice. So if you're gonna take your money and you're gonna throw it into the market, make sure you do your own due diligence, do your research, or consult a financial advisor. Let's go ahead and get that out the way because we don't want to just throw away the money that we work hard for. We actually want to make some sound investments and decisions when we're doing this. Um, we got some good stuff that we're gonna talk about tonight. If you're new to the podcast or if you're returning, you might well go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and get us pushed up in the trading world algo. Let's get the Kingdom podcast, out to the people that's looking for some solid trading um, entertainment. Something that just open your minds and just sheds a whole new light on different things and gives you the ability to learn while you're watching people talk about the stock market. I'm always glad to take the stage with these fine people every Sunday. This is actually one of my favorite days of the week because I get to talk stocks. How everybody feeling? How y'all feeling today, team? Everybody enjoying their Sunday?
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful Sunday for me. This is New Fish.
What's up? What's
Beautiful
up?
Yeah, man,
Sunday
beautiful
here, trying to
Sunday.
make it. What's going on, y'all?
Everybody tapped in. Let me. I know Mike was kind of busy. Let me unmute him.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you here? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
sorry, I was unpacking or something, but yeah, I'm great. Happy Sunday.
All right, Parunga, you good, bro?
Yeah, doing well, thank you.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Um, First thing that kind of has my attention is the SPY and the Qs. Everything's making all time highs, and with earnings seasons coming up right around the corner. My thing is, we definitely. I think if you're looking at hopping in, it's still okay to hopping in the calls. I'm not gonna say right now is the wrong time to start hopping in the calls. I just think we're probably gonna see a lot of consolidated movements this upcoming week in the market. With so many of these earnings coming up. If I pull up the earnings calendar, um, let's see if we have anything as far as the Mag 7. Fish, I think you pulled up something a little bit earlier, didn't you, on the some of the top earnings that's coming up?
Yeah, and I was actually just thinking about this. It would make a lot of sense to me that the market stays in great condition through earnings season. Uh, that way it just really lets the market just really pump up. I just thought about that. But yeah, so I do have some nice ones coming up for this week, Monday. What I'd be interested in watching would be Verizon. You got Domino's as well. I think those would be interesting on Monday since those are both, sort of consumer products. Tuesday, Coca-Cola. Definitely want to watch that. And you've got RTX, Raytheon. So that's going to be one that you're going to watch as well as GE Aerospace. Wednesday, you've got a big day. You've got Tesla, Chipotle, IBM, Alphabet, GE Vernova, ServiceNow. You've got Alaska Airlines as well. And looks like O'Reilly Auto Parts which I know is a pretty expensive stock. So if you're in that, you'll want to pay attention. Thursday, we have Intel, which should be interesting, as well as Southwest and American Airlines. And then Friday, what I'd be interested in watching. I just noticed this one. Auto Nation. That will be an interesting one to me. Known for being a nationwide dealer of used cars, sort of like a CarMax. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. You've also got HCA Healthcare, so Healthcare of America. That'll be very interesting. And Gentex Corporation will be interesting for me to watch as well. So those are what I think. Oh, you got Virtus as well on Friday.
Well, yeah, it looked like Wednesday is gonna be the day where all the madness kind of breaks loose for the Mag 7. I, I'm
It's
a
going to be wild. So for Mag 7, it's this Wednesday and then next Wednesday, the 30th.
when
That's
is
crazy.
when is Apple
On the
31st.
yeah,
Yeah,
Apple.
next Thursday.
next
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Man, how do y'all feel about Apple? Honestly,
Cool. So I mean, Apple's been a really wild one lately, right? Good news, bad news, good news, bad news. Stock up, stock down. Stock's going to crash. Stock's going to move, and stock's going back down. Like that's one that honestly I would only trade with shares so that way I could get out of it after hours if earnings turn bad. I would not want to be stuck in a call or a put with those earnings because I'm not confident in either way that it's going to go.
it's been super choppy, especially if you've been in. I mean, you've had a pretty decent move last month, but I mean, so far in the month of July, we've been pretty sideways.
Hmm.
I don't
For
know.
sure, man.
I don't know if they need a catalyst or what the catalyst has been as of recently.
Well, so I think their Apple AI really hurt them. Or not think, I know it did. I saw their stock drop with that. Um, but then the other day, geez, I forget who it was, but the other day they just announced a partnership with somebody that brought their stock up a little bit. Um, but then again, it also will depend on forward guidance, right? Since we still don't know what's going to happen with tariffs and all that, or if Trump is going to say anything about the iPhone, like he already tried to say iPhones had to be made in America, and then he backed off that. But if he goes back to that, that they said that the price of iPhones at that point would be anywhere between $3,000 and $3,500. So if that happens, that's not going to be good for the stock. Like I said, it's a crazy one to play if you're going to do options on it, I think.
Okay. I mean, I'm pretty bullish on it this week. Um,
Yeah, it looks pretty nice on the daily chart. 4 hour looks pretty consolidated to the upside. We just got to really get past that 213, 215 zone, and then we can fill the gap towards 220. Earnings is next week, you guys said, right? Thursday? I think it really just depends on that, right? But a run towards earnings or into earnings doesn't seem like a crazy idea right now.
I'm looking at it on a bigger time frame. Like you just pointed out, we really have to push past this 215, and 215 is actually my weekly target um for this week right here. But I think we really need to break beyond that 215 level in order to make that next move up to like 223ish, and that'll even help out the SPY um, and the Qs, with their little all-time high push. That might help them stay afloat also. So I think a lot's going to be riding on Apple going into this earnings season. So
1000%.
so yeah, my weekly call for this upcoming week will be 215, and probably be looking at not this week expiration, but that expiration going into that earnings. So I guess that August 1st
August
expiration
1st.
probably that'd be my expiration date that I would like to look at for these 215 calls. And then plus if it breaks out, you know, say if it hits 215 this week and it breaks out and pushes up even higher and makes that support, then we probably be take a nice little run up to that 223 level leading into earnings. So that'll be a nice little 2 week run, like you said, little bro, on Apple, heading into ER. So I think that's not too bad of a trade idea going into this week. My buy levels would be around the 210 to 280. I mean, 210 to 208, 75 levels. I can see a nice place to load up calls, and that'd be kind of approaching the bottom of this triangle pattern that we're seeing right now too. So that breakout would be nice, a nice way to push up towards the 215 level. So let me backtrack real quick. I'm gonna go back to SPY and Qs and mark my levels out real quick. And as of last week on the SPY, we pushed up to 629.40 before it finally ran out of gas. So this upcoming week, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. Um, my buy zones for this week will actually be, if we dip, it'll be between 623 and 620. Now that's a long way down, but you got to remember on this Wednesday, going into Thursday. I mean, we started Wednesday off at, let's see, so Wednesday 716, the lows were 618, and then we ended the week at 629. So I mean, we pushed $11 in a week. So I mean, it's definitely possible to see at least half of that come down. If push up $11 in a week, we might see a 50% retracement, which would be around like 555, 550 or somewhere around there. So that's why I got a actual bounce level around like the mid $623 range that we can take to try and reattempt to press these highs at 629 too. Like I said, Wednesday is gonna be a big earnings day with Tesla. And I think, who else did you say? We had Tesla and Google.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was what it was. That's not this coming Wednesday. That's Wednesday the 30th.
Okay, okay.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah,
That is this coming Wednesday, the 23rd. Excuse me. Yeah, Tesla, Google, IBM, Chipotle,
Okay.
Alaska Airlines, ServiceNow.
So overall, I mean, I'm still bullish on the market, on SPYs. But if we do happen to see a pullback, then 623.70 would be my first support level. 620.75 would be my second. And then if we just don't pull back at all, I'm looking at 631 and 635 as potential targets this week if we decide to break out and push higher, as of right now. And as far as the Qs go, um, let's see what the highs were. 564.73. Or did we push that high? 563.31. Okay, so I'm looking at a bounce right now at 558 and 554, to see how that works out. We actually made support or retested support around like 558, 551.88 last week. Um, we had a couple of bounces there and it recovered nicely, nice and swiftly both times. So that'll definitely be another level to watch if we start to look like we want to break structure and start moving back down to the downside. So anything below 550, if earnings start to have some trouble or we start tanking and it draws the market down, that'd be my actual level for a break of support, and that'll determine whether we actually want to move down and retest lower levels at 547. I don't know if you guys remember, I used to talk about the third quarter might being bearish, but I don't know. I don't know right now. I think a lot of this is gonna weigh in on the Mag 7 earnings, and I don't know. Do you guys see any pullback coming soon in the market or what?
So I think the market is going to be pretty stable and continue rising until after earnings season, and that's when I think we see a pullback.
Yeah, I think it's going to be based off of
the big Mag 7 earnings. If Mag 7 earnings are really, really good, Amazon's putting up good numbers, Apple, Google, if they're all putting out those really good numbers, then the market's going to keep rallying on that hopium and that optimisticness of the market. But I think if we start to see some cracks and some guidance for the future for the Mag 7s, I think that's where the pullback's going to be. Excuse me, I'm still getting over being sick, I feel like. But so the idea that I've looked at a lot over the weekend was there's some data that we're looking at, and there's been a huge rotation back into tech stocks as of the last couple of months here, where there's been a lot of inflow into those big Mag 7 tech companies. And I think it's on the optimism that earnings are going to be great. A lot of people are talking about earnings being better than expected. And it's kind of what New Fish and everybody else talks about, where it's all about the guidance now, right? So if these Mag 7 stocks put out some good guidance and we get some good numbers, some good beats across the board, top and bottom line, I think we push higher, no doubt. I think if we start to see cracks in the foundation of these Mag 7s and some nervousness in the market, that's where you're going to see the pullback in SPY and the QQQ and everything else.
I can see that. Anybody else? I mean, lil bro, what you think? If,
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think it all depends on the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the big boys, as we know, are who have been holding us up or down on a daily basis recently. You know, I was just about to bring up a heat map. So we go like during the daytime in the kingdom and live trading, we often bring up the heat map. How's it looking right now? All right, well, who's holding us up? Who's holding us down? And it's usually one of the big Mag 7 guys.
I can agree.
Right. I know, we saw that Netflix didn't do well after their earnings came out. They had really good earnings, but they still were down about 5% right after that. So that's one of those bigger companies. Now, is it that now the market is looking for even better numbers and we're not just getting those bigger numbers from these big Mag 7s? It's kind of like NVIDIA, for example. NVIDIA last year was killing every single earnings that came out. It was beating top and bottom across the board. But there was one day where NVIDIA beat everywhere across the board. It had all this cash growth or this cash flow coming in, and the market pulled it back down. And people were like, why? It's beats across the board. And somebody made a really good point, and it was they beat, but the market wants more, and that's the problem. These companies aren't getting what the market wants. You're going to see that pullback. Netflix beat across the board, and they raised their guidance and everything and their outlooks, but it just wasn't enough. The market was like, nah, we want more, and you're not giving us more, so we're pulling our money out. And so Netflix is down 5%. So there's a lot of pressure on these tech stocks coming in. How much guidance are they going to be pushing? How much are they going to be raising their revenue outlooks and their future expectations? And is it going to be what the market wants? If it's not what the market wants, that's where you're going to see that pullback, I feel like. So Netflix was the first indication of, is that what's going to happen for Apple, for Google, for Tesla, for Amazon, for Meta? Is it going to be the same thing? NVIDIA, I know that they're a little bit later on for earnings, but is that going to be the same thing in the market where you're going to see beats across the board, but not enough? And that's why I would love to see what happens. So that's going to be the crucial thing, and it's guidance that matters.
So, speaking of guidance, what ended up happening towards the tail end of last earnings season is companies started coming out with the smart companies started coming out with two sets of guidance. If this happens, we expect this. If this happens, we expect this. Because nobody knew what was happening with tariffs, right? Mm-hmm. So that was a really smart thing. And those companies actually ended up seeing a positive outlook, and which was reflected in their share price. The companies that were just like, well, hey, we don't really know. We'll find out when you find out. Customers were, or the market was kind of bearish on it. So I think that a lot more companies, especially the bigger companies, will do that if they are a sector in which tariffs could possibly affect them.
So you said they're coming out with a different.
I think now that moving forward, now that we've had the word tariff is every day used in the market, I feel like these days, ever since April of everything hit the fan and stuff. I think now these companies are just being I don't care anymore. I feel like they're starting to get this I don't care mentality, because it's just they've been stagnant now for the last 3 months or so, Now they're going to be like, you know what? Let's start pushing guidance still, and then maybe there might be more of a reactionary thing because there's always these pushbacks and delays and this and that. They might just be like, you know what? Let's just do what we think is best for our business. And if tariffs come that impact us, we'll have to just do a rotation. We'll have to pivot and go from there instead of just being the stagnant period of just sitting around and waiting. Now they're kind of just getting probably sick and tired of it. So let's just keep going through with the plan here, and then if tariffs make a big impact, let's do a pivot somewhere else, and then we can readjust our company and business model from there. But rather than that, I think they're probably just getting sick and tired of it. If I was someone that was a business owner right now, I'd be so sick and tired of this crap. I don't know about you guys, but I would be so sick and tired of hearing tariffs, no tariffs, tariffs, no tariffs. I'd be like, I just want to hire people and grow my company. That's all I want to do, and just expand and be better. But I don't know.
So if I'm
So
if I'm correct about Netflix, I mean Netflix got such a big run over the past, couple of quarters. It was because they were supposed
Yeah.
to I think they were supposed to take over like the actual sports streaming world. I don't
Uh,
know if that was factored into this one or not, but I mean, in my head, football season coming up, um, I think
very well could be.
if Netflix
Yeah,
could
no,
add
it very
something
well
like
could be.
Red Zone, I mean, if Fish, you might be in there with me too. Like, if Netflix could add something like Red Zone or a package like that to compete with NFL Red Zone, I think that'd be pretty dope for the company overall, though.
here's the thing about that, Royalty, is I like the track that you're on. I really do. But people are already comfortable watching Red Zone, right? When you think, hey, I need to see four scores all at once, what's your go-to? Oh man, I got to turn on Red Zone. So you're not automatically thinking Netflix, right? So there's a couple things here. One, you got to sort of do what Robinhood's doing, right? You got to build a business model where everything that you're going to do with finance is you can do it pretty much through Robinhood, right? So
Don't say too much because we're gonna hop on Robinhood. So
exactly, but I'm using that because it correlates directly to this.
okay,
So what Netflix needs to do is they need to follow that business model. They need to make it so that every time you turn on your TV, you're going to Netflix, right? And so here's the issue is that when I think live TV, I don't think Netflix.
true.
That's the
Correct.
mental block, right? That's the big mental block. So what they're going to have to do to conquer that is they're going to have to come out with something that is infinitely better, right? They're going to have to come out with something that is not available anywhere else, that nobody's even thought of, and that's going to blow your mind. And that's the only way they're going to secure people to switch over from Red Zone to Netflix. Because what does this also mean then? If that takes off, that means that sports bars now have to switch packages and have to buy packages from Netflix.
But can I just say, you're talking about the company that started off with thinking about the thing that nobody with DVDs mailed to your house. And then when DVDs went bye-bye, we all thought Netflix was going with it like Blockbuster. And they
Yep.
somehow are $1,000 share price right now. So,
Way
don't,
more
I
than
mean,
that.
I'm just saying,
1,200, bro.
they know how to
They're
pivot. I mean, they're good. It's
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they
they're my
won't.
biggest regret as an investor not getting it a long time, especially
I'm,
when they made that pivot. Like,
I'm not saying they won't or that they can't. I'm saying this is what they need in
yep,
order to make
yeah,
it.
and I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
wanted to toss that out. I mean, big picture. I mean, they will figure it out, and you know it.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
It's just a matter of
Yeah.
when. It's
That Tyson
Tyson
Paul
Jake
fight
Paul,
that
man,
was just that was the tip of the iceberg. That was literally just a that was a test drive of a new car. They don't even know what car they want to buy yet.
and
You know what I mean?
I remember it had so much like everybody was having problems with it, like freezing and everything, and people thought, oh,
Yeah.
Netflix finna bomb. Man, Netflix took off and was like, let me show y'all something real quick.
It was like 3 days before earnings or something,
It was
right?
crazy. It was right before
Yeah,
earnings, yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
and
Remember
I
that.
think they factored those numbers in, like how many people that they had that got on there to watch the fight. I think they
Oh
factored
yeah.
those numbers in into their earnings call, and it sent it parabolic. So
Yep.
I definitely think that
So
that's going to be something that they'll figure out is to infiltrate the actual sports streaming because everybody else has partner with, they partner with somebody. You can get this sports package, NFL Red Zone package, through Hulu or through Fubo or something like that. Like if Netflix comes out with something like you were saying, exclusively for
Yep.
Netflix, that's gonna lock in so much more subscribers and justify the
Exactly.
price increases.
And it
How much
could be.
longer is TBS's contract on baseball?
I have no
That's a
clue.
good
I'm
question.
gonna look it up.
But also, this could be as something as simple as creating like the dream team of sportscasters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is, but you put that all together where it's someone that was in football, someone that knows football is also funny. I mean, like I don't know, I don't know what that is. I don't run
Yeah.
focus groups.
But you know what's crazy though is that you think about it is that like I saw a picture, I think it was the other day, about like where you could stream all of NFL this season. And it's like week 1 is here, week 2 is somewhere else, week 3 is like completely somewhere else. It's like 8 or 9
I hate
different
that.
platforms. Like, it'd be like also something that's a simple but effective fix if Netflix is able to do it. Just offer NFL so much cash and just get all the exclusive rights to the games for like next season. Because you know how much volume they would get if you paid for all the exclusive streaming rights for every Monday night game or Sunday night game or whatever. Like you would get so much volume on that one,
But I
and
see.
people would be signing up for Netflix left, right. And like that's a simple. I'm not saying it might be the best solution, but that's a simple one where if they have the cash to do that, that could be a game changer just in itself. Is just buying exclusive rights to NFL.
I think Amazon, somebody has that to where like every Thursday game they stream the
Yeah,
football
Yeah,
game.
Amazon.
it's
Thursday,
Amazon.
ESPN, ABC has Mondays, NBC has Sundays.
Yeah,
Well,
and,
they can always be bought. You can put more money into it. Just put a little bit more. Just offer more. They can
the
do
thing
it. They
that
got
sucks.
cash.
The thing about it that sucks for the consumer is if you want to watch football, you can't just have cable anymore. You got to have like so many
Yeah.
different packages to make sure you're getting this game and that game. And like we were
So
just saying, the Monday night, the Thursday night. When there is one, who's going to have the Saturday and the Sunday nights?
Yep.
And then who's going to have what Sunday afternoon and what Sunday mornings, as I call them, and like
Right. But it happens also with I don't know if you guys are much in like soccer like games stuff like that, but like when I watch soccer games, like the most important ones, like the Champions League ones, which are like the best of the best teams playing it, like it's like Paramount Plus. Then it got switched over from Paramount Plus before to somewhere else. Like so, the soccer ones switch up like every single season. Someone else is buying the rights, someone else is buying out the games, the finals, stuff like that, and it makes me frustrated, like you're saying, because I don't have Paramount Plus. I don't really know anybody who has Paramount Plus, honestly, for it because I don't know what else it offers besides Champions League finals and stuff like that and those kind of games. So, like, if Netflix went out and just bought that, I would love that because I already have Netflix. I wouldn't mind just being like, you know what, cool, I can watch all the finals here, whatever the case is. It just makes it just so much easier. So it's the same thing where it's like I have to go to like 14 different platforms to watch certain games. It just sucks. It really does.
yeah.
So I'll
So,
do
yeah.
a self plug here, just to let you, but really to help you guys to let you know, I do sell IPTV. I more just did it for my family, which is why I bought the reseller. But just so you guys know, which has all the NFL games in one nice menu
Oh, nice.
You're gonna have to get in
That's
there.
for
cool.
about $15 a month. So
That's awesome. That's a good tip.
I'll be locking in.
Yeah.
Definitely be
very,
locking
very
in.
legal. Very legal.
Hey,
Yeah.
Very legal.
I live in
Do your own
Canada.
research. Do your own research.
I'm Canadian.
okay.
But yeah, if
It's
Netflix came out with something huge and mind blowing, yeah, they could definitely do it. And by the way, I did see that their share price just got an upgrade after their
Netflix.
earnings. So Netflix, yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
I mean, was it? Yeah, yeah. Even though they dropped, it's still went up.
Who,
So.
who upgraded it? Like, who came out and upgraded it? I'm be curious to know. Do you have a name?
I forget who it was, but I saw it on CNBC. It was someone that I believe to be reputable.
Okay, I'm gonna say I always love when people are just like so and so downgraded the stock here. I'm like, okay, and you look like their like percentage of like success, it's like 20%. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I'm really gonna listen to you.
It
When you're
was
like,
it was
you're,
City. I did bring it up. It was City
okay,
Group that upgraded it.
all right,
Okay,
yeah,
there
only
you go. Yeah,
I always love those people who are just like, yeah, the stock sucks. I don't buy it. I'm like, dude, you're like 20% success. Get out of here. Like, I'm not listening to you.
And in a week when like Warner Brothers and Discovery are leading, you know what to do.
Right.
But dude, I saw a stock the other day. Some guy was like, "This stock's horrible," and I was like, "What is this guy talking about? Like, this guy's a professional." And then it was like, "Oh, your win rate is like under 50%." Well, yeah, of course you're. I mean, like it was like under 35%. How are you a professional? Come on.
And just pick stocks randomly and hope for the best. You know, like I started doing that. Like every week I'll come out, guys, this stock sucks, and just see what my percent rate is. And be like, guys, I'm at like 40% right now, and I'm doing better than Wall Street analysts right now. I'm just letting you guys know.
Right. Well, you sort of do that, man. You have that ChatGPT challenge.
Yeah, I put that on hold though for a while. I'm trying overnight drift trading now to see how it goes. I'm 1 for 1 so far. I made like $180 in like an hour, which is pretty cool. But
It's pretty dope.
yeah, I mean, it sucks though because like you can't. I think we talked about this on the podcast last week. Like you got to be very specific with your trading. You can't trade pre-market when there's macro data coming out. You can't trade when there's big earnings coming out. Like it has to be a very quiet day in the market for it to have the best chance of success. And with us hitting just smack dab at the beginning of earnings seasons, like it's hard. There's 2 days this week where I can do it. Tuesday into Wednesday, there's no data and there's no huge earnings that move SPY. So I'll be looking to see Tuesday into Wednesday, and then Thursday into Friday is what I'm looking at because that's after all the major earnings come out. So we'll see how it goes, obviously, if we can get the stars to line up for that one. But I'm excited to do it, man. It's great. I woke up at 9:30. I wake up, I sell it at 9:30 in the morning. I'm done for the day. I cash out like $100. I move on my life. It's a great feeling. Really easy.
I love
Facts.
it. I love it.
Man,
Sir, what is this beautiful chart that you have pulled up here?
this is
Just
Weeble.
looking at Weeble.
Now, let me hop into one more thing, and then we're gonna jump into Robinhood and Weeble.
Okay.
One more thing I wanted to draw attention to was the Fear and Greed Index, and
Oof.
yeah, hey, tell me about it. We are entering extreme greed. Um,
Yep.
hey, not like I
Sorry about
said.
that. That's what I myself.
I mean, now is not the time to be jumping just straight into the market without expecting, a pullback. Like you at least want to be somewhere in this neutral to greed area if you just want to start something. But um, right now is real shaky, and then especially approaching with the ERs coming around. Fred, did we have any? Did we have anything economic on like just wild last week?
Anything wild last week? Honestly, I don't. I think it was more of the earnings. I know we had CPI and PPI actually came in. I think CPI came in really pretty good. I think PPI did as well, which was great. I think the people at markets are pretty happy about that. Let me take a quick look for you and double check the numbers. I didn't see that. I didn't look at the Michigan consumer sentiment report yet, but CPI came in better than expected, which was great. It was lower across the board, which is great, except for the year over the year for January, which is up like 0.1. But it's that thing where more and more data comes in. It still increases, came in better than the expectations, but we start seeing a little bit of an increase in CPI data, which is kind of feeding into Jerome Powell of the sit back and wait approach kind of idea. PPI data came in relatively okay, it looks like, across the board, which is good for the producer side of things. Nothing really crazy and shocks. I think jobs reports were pretty good too, which was great for us. Let me see what the Michigan was looking at. Michigan consumer expectations, 1 year inflation projections 4.4%, down from 5, which is great. 5 year to 3.6% inflation expectations, down from 4% before, which is good. Consumer expectations about the same. Consumer sentiment, yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy. Atlanta Fed predicted GDP is 2.4 for quarter 2, which again we're all expecting a positive Q2 GDP report because Q1 was just a disaster because of all the front loading of imports. So now that with the imports out of the picture, GDP comes in a lot higher as a result for it. So we're going to be seeing a positive GDP probably for quarter 2. Nothing really shocking there. I don't really see anything that really sticks out. It was good data, I think, overall. We had good jobs data, good inflation reports, all that. But it's the thing that, again, these data points keep feeding into Jerome Powell's narrative of sitting back and waiting. The fact that you had a small increase from the previous to now of CPI, that just a small increase fuels Jerome Powell's sit back and wait approach. And that's kind of the idea that that's what people are talking about in this case. And that's why you look at interest rate cut predictions, they're fluctuating every time data points come out like this. But it's kind of feeding into Jerome Powell, but the job market is still relatively stable, it seems like. No surprise misses there. Inflation is starting to come up a little bit, so it's kind of feeding to that narrative. This week, we don't have much. Jerome Powell, believe it or not, is testifying Tuesday, or he's talking on Tuesday. I don't know if you guys do that or not, at 8:30 in the morning. I can only imagine that he's going to be asked about Jerome Powell, about Donald Trump wanting to fire his ass. But I'll be curious to see if what his response to is that. But rather than that, nothing crazy besides just jobless data. You have manufacturing data, I guess, which might be a little bit important, and durable goods orders, but nothing. It's a little bit more of a quieter week economic macro perspective, but more earnings now to focus on. But yeah, I'll be curious to see Jerome Powell testifying at 8:30 on Tuesday morning. Be curious to know what he talks about there. But I mean, nothing. No, there was no like huge shocks to the market that caused like a 3% rally or like a 4% dip or something like that. So the market's kind of doing its thing, It's seeing these data points coming in. They're like, all right, well, there's no shock yet. And that's the thing, is that like, when does the first data point come in when it shocks the market and then things go downhill? That's what I think everybody's kind of waiting for, and we haven't had that. Like, if inflation came in, like as a huge number compared to expectations, that could have been a huge shock factor. Jobless data, same thing, but we haven't had any of those shock points yet. So I'm actually kind of, some nice quiet data points to look at. Nothing crazy, honestly, from my end, from what I've seen so far.
Let me ask y'all this.
Okay, so
How do y'all feel about the whole Trump and Jerome Powell beef that's going on right now?
I'll let Newfish take that one. He's in DC.
yeah, so I've got something to say about this. All right. So first off, I'll start with what I've read in like Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal and seen on CNBC. These various outlets have all agreed that if Trump were to fire Powell, the market would see about a 3% drop immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, and we saw those waters get tested already, and we saw the market react negatively, right? There was a big sell-off. And then Trump backed off and said, hey, I'm not going to fire him. No way. I'm not going to fire him. If he wants to quit, that's a different story, but I'm not going to fire him.
Well,
And the market went back.
Technically, can Trump fire him, though?
I believe the Supreme Court said that he can.
There's a lot of legality to that. It's going to be very hard to fight that battle from his side.
So, guys, here's the other part.
He wouldn't be fighting so hard publicly to get him to quit if it were that easy.
Guys, it is that easy. You got to let me finish here. So,
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. Like the DC circle, you hear things, right? So here's the part about it, and this is why it's very interesting to me, Fridge, that you brought up that Powell is testifying on Tuesday. I don't know that they'll bring this up on Tuesday, but it would not shock me if they did bring this up on Tuesday. There is now talk that Congress will bring Powell up on perjury charges in order to get him out of his seat. That's how they're expected to possibly force him out of his seat. And the reason that he'll be brought up on perjury charges will be the testimony that he gave about the $2.5 billion or $2.5 million, whatever the hell it was, probably billion, renovation to the Fed headquarters.
Yep.
I guess his numbers were off or something was off in his testimony, and they're now going to come at him and try to get him out due to that testimony. So be careful Tuesday. I didn't know he was testifying Tuesday. Be careful Tuesday because, I said I don't know what they're going to say. They may ask him about this. They may not. But if they do start questioning him about this, expect the market to go red.
Yeah, I wrote a whole thing about that like last week where it was on After Hours. They put it on a YouTube video as well. But it was just like, they were talking about firing him and then not firing him. And then they're talking about this idea. They threw this thing out there. They're going to be looking into the perjury charges you're talking about for the renovation from the new headquarters they're making there. And then so Powell was bringing in somebody. I forgot who it was. But he had to bring in somebody to oversee the whole thing to make sure it's like, hey, like look, it's all completely within line and stuff like that. So it just is just becoming like I don't even know how to really describe it. It's more of just like they're just gonna keep throwing things out like they're pushing him. They're trying to push him to they're basically trying to fire him without firing him. They're just trying to push him out as in any way from any direction as much as they possibly can. But the problem is, and there's a lot of people like there was somebody from that was if one of the I forgot what the guy's name was, but he was like something like the housing committee or something like that, and he was like, I'm so confident that he's gonna step down and our economy's gonna boom. And that is just so incorrect that it's hysterical because maybe short term you might see like a 1% push up or whatever from fake euphoria, but you look at long term, it's a bad idea. You look at what happened in the 70s. Richard Nixon put someone in office, name was Burns, in the Fed chair. He goes, hey, dude, I need you to cut rates, make the economy look good. I have re-election coming up in 72. Gets reelected, and then inflation just skyrockets like 10% after that. When the political power, when politics have that sort of influence on monetary policy, it just screams disaster. It just does. And Jerome Powell has been trying to stay neutral and try to stay independent of every single thing possible. And it's always been a fight that he's been trying to keep the credibility of the Fed. And people are worried now. And my worry would be if I see Jerome Powell is out of office and then Trump is picking the next one in line, he's going to be picking someone that lines up with his beliefs and wants to drop rates and cut rates and all this kind of stuff. He called for like a 3% cut last week. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? You want to drop 3% rates? You want to drop at 3% just like that? Like you're funny. Like that's not how this works. And so I would be super nervous to see that he's putting somebody else in that position who is on his side of things where he can start cutting rates whenever he wants, and he's going to be fueled by political pressures from the administration, and that is going to be detrimental, and all the Feds are going to lose credibility, and we're going to spiral. And that's my biggest fear right now that I have from me looking back at the data.
If the world loses confidence in the American dollar or the American monetary system, guys, we're screwed.
100%.
Foreign nations will stop buying our bonds.
Yep. All money goes out. We got nothing.
Right. That's a big, big, big deal. What's worse, foreign nations can start cashing in bonds. They can start selling them.
Yeah.
That could tank our economy. This is the reason why you don't want a country like China buying up too many bonds, because then it could be an economic national security threat.
Right.
I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that that's what's happening.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that people don't. That's why he's trying. Like Jerome Powell, I give him so much credit for him staying so unbiased and keeping all politics aside from it. And him and his Fed is doing what they believe is right for the American people, for the U.S. economy, and they're not giving in to that pressure from anybody from outside. I give him so much credit for doing so. The minute there's any sort of switch up where he's out and someone's put in, it's you better be in for a roller coaster of your portfolios.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Trump has filed for bankruptcy a few times before, so that's not a good thing.
Yeah, but so this is serious. This is not a joke, right? If you look at the Taj Mahal casino in Atlantic City that Trump ran, and I am not bashing on Trump. This is a legitimate just business thing, right? So he ran the Taj Mahal, and as part of it, he had the Taj Mahal buy him a plane. That's how he got the first Trump jet. I think it was 747 or 37 or something. But then then the casino went bankrupt, but they couldn't sell the plane because part of his deal was that the casino had to buy the plane for him. Well, don't you think that buying an airplane like a Boeing airplane, don't you think that's a lot of money? And that may have contributed to the bankruptcy of a casino. It's pretty damn hard to bankrupt a casino, y'all.
Right.
It's true.
The house
They're
always
set
wins.
up. They're set up to win. They're set up. The math is really simple. They are set up to make a 4%, 5% edge on all money that comes in to that casino on a daily basis. It's a simple model. It's so effective. I've
Can you
hardly
make
ever
that same
seen
defense
those
for
go.
Alti for the people who keep calling it a Ponzi scheme? They're literally selling degen gamblers on the options, but I digress.
They're selling zero DTEs to degen gamblers on the options. I love it.
House always
Right.
wins, man. House always wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yes, it does.
like I was saying, it's pretty hard to bankrupt a casino. I'll never forget the day. You know, I live in DC. I'm a couple hours drive from Atlantic City, and we were seeing advertisements down here for the quote unquote estate sale, if you will, of the Taj Mahal. You know, go up to the Taj Mahal. Like, do you need a gently used quote unquote gently used bed? We're selling all of our mattresses.
I
Do
don't
you
want.
need lamps?
I
We're
don't want no
selling all of
mattress.
our lamps.
I don't want a mattress
Yeah.
from a casino.
Hell no.
Bruh.
So
Definitely
okay.
Do not
don't
know
use
about being
the
You
safe.
said gently
So
used.
since
Ain't nothing
so,
coming.
okay.
Nothing coming
So
out of the gently used.
Hell no.
So, all right. So let me ask you this, right? So, because I don't know if you saw, I know this you guys saw. I posted on After Hours about Bank of America's. They had a whole report I wrote up recently about from today, and there's a lot of things about their fund manager survey they did and stuff like that. So they did a poll, and part of their survey was the probability of who's going to be the next Fed chair. The four names that are listed on this sheet are Scott Bessent, Kevin Warsh, Christopher Waller, and Kevin Hassett. Who do you guys think is the leading candidate out of those four for the next Fed chair?
Would it be Besson?
Has to. No. The Trump said, well, I mean, it could be, but so Besant was a hedge fund manager, right? So it'd be good to be Besant. But Trump has said that he likes Besant where he is at the Treasury.
Mm,
And Kevin Hassett is a Trump yes man. He's been in a high economic position with this current Trump administration and the previous Trump administration as well.
yeah.
From what I've heard, he's the leading candidate for the job.
Okay. What do you got? All right, Michael Perungo. What do you guys think? Trying to make it. What do you guys think? What do you think is the leading probability?
I do not know anything about the people you named, but it will be the one who will say yes the most. That is my
Word,
opinion.
I'm gonna go with Perunga because beyond candlesticks and formations, I'm screwed, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's a lot of what kind of Fish was saying. Other than the biggest yes man is in a play, Trump wants him, so he's not going to move
guys.
from
I'm not. It's not. You're not. Don't worry. I know I'm a teacher. I'm not grading you on this pop quiz question. Don't worry.
No, I'm just
No,
saying.
I think
know
Fish, you
the
said it
first
really
who
well.
says yes.
I mean, I agree for. Yeah, I mean, he does like Maria's. It was a good.
So according to Bank of America's Global Fund Manager Survey, Scott Bessent is leading the probability right now. 26% chance of him being the next Fed chair,
Oh
and
wow.
Kevin Hassett is the lowest out of those four at 7% probability. Fun fact.
Wow.
But is that just based on the survey's results, not like
Yes, it's not based on
Okay.
like national.
You know
public opinion.
that
It's
whatever's at
Jose
the
survey.
top, Trump will
Gotcha.
not go with whatever's at the top of that list. What is what people are thinking. He will go against it just to be an ass.
that's
I
probably
mean, he
true.
will.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what everybody else is thinking. I'm going to pick your mom to do it.
He's gonna have people go. He's gonna have people go on Clashy and like just bet on the least likely person who has like the best odds ever,
Bro.
and just take that person and just make a crap ton of money from it, and then
Hey,
you'll be good to go. That's what he's
honestly,
gonna do.
that might be something that they put on Robinhood next.
Yeah,
The whole Kelsey thing,
100%.
yeah.
100%. They're gonna put that on Robinhood, and I'm gonna be all for it to watch what happens for that one.
Now watch Hood buy Kelsey out, that whole little app out, because they would do some shit like that. Just buy them out.
How much are
take
they?
the company-
How much are they
You know,
worth?
You guys, this replaces like back when we used to go into an office and we had when is she and stuff. We're just doing it on Robinhood about Jerome Powell instead. When is he going to get fired? You know, it's just more sophisticated.
I want to see how much Clashy's worth, like as a company. I'm curious.
That's a
How would they
valuation
even
of $2
buy them
billion.
Good question.
Oh, that's pocket change in Robinhood. It's fine. Speaking of
That's what I'm
Robinhood, right?
saying,
Royalty,
bro.
can we transition to Robinhood now? Because we've all been super excited about it. Can we transition over there now?
Since
Over
everybody,
here chomping at the bit, man.
since all conversations lead back to Robin Hood, let's go ahead and transition to Robin Hood. So, my thing was that I want to talk about today was Robin Hood versus Webull versus other
Ooh,
brokers.
I like that.
So,
Sounds good.
um, let me pull the hood chart up first, cause it's been good in the hood for a good little minute with Robin Hood.
I'm looking. I'm looking at my Robinhood chart, the daily, right? And all I have is a simple falling wedge, and then a line that says sentiment shift above $58. And I'm looking at where we're at right now, and Jesus
Hundred and
Lord,
109, bro. So
That's great.
I'm looking at my Webull charts right now. I had one. What I had? I think I had like 113 or one. No, 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 no. I had 109 or 106 as my weekly target last week, and we blew past it. I think I started calling calls around Tuesday, and that would have been good to swing, but we end up getting out at 20%. Cool. We'll take that. This upcoming week, uh, yeah, earnings is right around the corner. July
Yep.
30th. This upcoming week, the only thing that kind of scares me is that this daily candle closed flat.
yeah, that was a scary daily candle. I ain't gonna lie, it looks like a
It closed like
bearish one.
it opened at 109.70, 109.75, and it closed at 109.74. It closed
But
a penny below.
that was also. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was also. Just want to remind you. OPEX monthly OPEX Friday.
Yeah, yeah, and true.
Yep.
If I zoom in on a smaller time frame, it did gap up and it started to get bought up as it started closing up this gap down to 106.50 to kind of make that little curve formation back to the upside. But I'm gonna be curious to watch this upcoming week. Robin Hood sometimes have these violent um, slap downs in price action before it gets bought back up, and it has a violent move back up to the upside, and it normally doesn't stop. So this upcoming week, if we see the price drop below 105, between 105 and 101 will be my levels to buy. We'll be retesting some prior highs and see if that's going to count as support, and see if the price is going to drive back up towards 113 and break those highs. A weekly target of 121.53. So that'll be interesting, very, very interesting on how Robinhood performs this upcoming week. And then to look at Bull and trying to make it, I think you were harping the same thing on me, the same thing as me with Webull this
Oh
past
yeah,
week. Um,
I've been making those gains with Webull, man. $11.40 average cost. You already know me, man.
right. So, and I know I've been posting on after hours to buy Webull all the way down here. Anytime it crossed below this 1075 price range, I was like, hey, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, because I just didn't see us
Yes,
coming
sir.
any lower. We could have came down to like a $7 range, but we were bouncing at previous lows. Like this was IPO day, well, IPO early IPO, and we were flirting with the all-time lows. So that would have gave us up um, and pushed us a little bit lower down here to $7. But look at this, look at this buy. Like it took this recent resistance level, turned it into support, and just took off, just absolutely skyrocketed. And when we were up here, I told anybody who commented under the post, I told them, hey, if it goes below 1350, that'd be your opportunity to buy in. Because one thing about my charts, if you're new to me, I use the GAN fan, which is pretty much is predetermined levels already. Once you set it up on a trend, uh, it gives you different levels to watch for, and you don't really have to chart so frequently. Um, but you can find so many different angles. You can set the fan up so many different ways. I have to make an updated video on it, but these levels are always going to be fixed. They're going to be consistent, and you always they out there. The prices are always going to retouch certain levels on these fan levels. So I use those in confluence with support and resistance just based off the charts. I tie in some Fibonacci levels, and I try to get as accurate as I can with support and resistance to be able to draw out the formations a little bit better to see actual tops and bottoms. So this was a beautiful buy right here at this $12 range, and it just took off. It broke $14 and $15, and it pushed as high as $17.19. So I wouldn't say buy in right now because it could push higher, but it also could drop back down and retest this level of support here.
That's very interesting, and it's funny to see because when we had that dip, we waked up from that $14 zone.
Hmm.
When we look at the previous price action, $14 was a very strong rejection level. I
Right.
remember on July 2nd, we broke out of $14 for a second, hit $15, and we crashed right back down. But
Hmm.
now we waked up from there for the
Yeah.
$15 support, which is bullish.
And this is that $15 retest that you was talking about, and then we gapped down back below this 1350 level, right here, consolidated for
Yes,
probably a
sir.
couple of days, and then once it got the enough buyers to step in, it just took off. So, if prices happen to drop back down, I'm liking for between 1458 and 1319 to see if this little level right here serves as another level of support. So if we come back
So
down anything around here, I'm saying buy, of course, and see if we can push up to this $19 level. If I just zoom all the way out, Liberal, I think me and you was texting about it a couple of days ago, but
yes, sir.
I got 26, I got 44, and 79, which would be
You gotta really.
yeah, yeah.
It's literally almost.
It's
That's why a lot of people
25% of
like
my
to compare
Roth
it.
is what it is.
That's
So
beautiful. Yeah, I
that's
have a big
would
too.
kind of make my day.
No wonder you said
That would kind of make
really.
my day.
So I mean I think Robinhood has some very high expectations, um, and like I was talking about with my fan levels, you see it held up a little bit over here before it decided to sell off. So once we come back up and retest this 1982 level, it'd be approaching the highs right here, but it also be trying to retest a level of well, a rejection level, but it'd be looking to flip this into support. So you can kind of see where we melted down from here, just straight down. So I wouldn't be surprised if once we made support back up here above this 1982, then that's when we see kind of a surge up to this $26.75 back over here. So I mean, I think this could be another opportunity to buy in low and then hold, hold through the madness, kind of like we saw with Hood and with Palantir. I think it's one of those type stocks. So,
The
Mark,
IPO gives a. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that IPO level and the $80 strike price that we had when we first dropped, and then all the way to where we ended up going. It's extremely uncannily similar to a lot of these other stocks that end up moving the same way in the future.
yeah, yeah. Um, I like Robinhood personally. I started off when I first started trading back in what 20 2018 2019. I started off using Webull. I think it was pandemic. So whenever the pandemic hit, that was when I started trading. And Robinhood was my first go to. And then from there, I started learning how to read the charts and all. And I had a Robinhood too. I opened it up because it's real. It's Robinhood is just super like beginner friendly. You know, it's buy, sell, trade, and they
It's
making
the
it.
it's the Apple of investing. Like I've always thought, the UI is really easy. Can't really customize it, but you don't need because it's easy to use. It reminds me of Apple, and then Webull is kind of like the Android, where it's customizable enough that it can make your head hurt.
That's a
Um,
good way to look at it.
but there's a more of a learning curve to it. Robinhood, you can give it to your kid, and he can figure out how to buy stock in 3 minutes. It's
Well, so Robinhood was actually designed to have the UI be similar to a video game, and the reason for that
oh
is
weird.
that yeah, Yeah, it was designed that way. And the reason for that is they figured out in research focus groups that it actually kept users on the app longer. It kept them making more trades.
Which 50,000 degens on AH.
Yeah, everybody
That it
prefers
worked.
Robinhood. Yeah.
It worked.
So as far as Robinhood, like I said, I only use Robinhood and I use Webull. Outside of the brokerage I have open in Chase, I've never really just used anything else. I know some of you guys probably use brokerages outside of Robinhood and Webull. I mean, what do you guys think?
Do you guys want? Go ahead.
Yeah. No. You go ahead. You start. I've been doing
Well,
a lot.
yeah, I'll let you guys. So, because I do have accounts at a lot of them, I've worked at some, and I do have, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with them. So I don't want to over talk on this one. So the one that I'll talk about is actually my favorite at all. But that's Interactive Brokers, and I just want to mention it because I feel like they are the how does the saying go? You'd rather have it and not need it than need it not have it. But like during MTPLF and stuff, people that were able to view it on German exchanges, there's so much information on there. You can start buying stocks, on Sunday night. But being able to see those worldwide exchanges, you can script 9 ways to Sunday. It's the most open. So I don't love it. It honestly, they kind of suck to deal with, but because it takes like 5 days to open. But I will just mention that one that even if you don't plan on using it, I would open an Interactive Brokers account.
All right.
But yeah, the other ones, I mean, I love Schwab. And I use Fidelity for all my long-term holdings, but I'll let other people talk about these more because I will talk all day. So.
Bridge, Perunga.
How y'all feel about y'all brokers?
I think Fridge can go ahead. I guess go ahead.
Oh, sorry, man. No, I was gonna say I only use Robinhood and Webull. I mean, I have Schwab for my HSA account, and like that's just like a set and forget it thing where I just put money in case I need it for medical expenses. But right now, I just use Webull and Robinhood, and it's honestly just I don't need to go anywhere else. I just have really enjoyed both
Yeah,
equally.
I'm
I
very
did Robinhood
similar.
first, and yeah, I did Robinhood first, and then I saw Webull. I was like, okay, I'm open to Webull. Webull has better promotions than Robinhood. Robinhood's like you get a referral for like a $5 share of nobody cares stock. Webull was like there's like anywhere between like 30 to $100 just for signing up, and I was like, all right, cool, like that's already better than Robinhood. So I did Webull a while ago. I got like $30 of like Apple stock and like Spotify and something else. So it's actually good quality companies and stuff. So I like how they're doing it. I haven't really seen a need to really go honestly anywhere else. I got my IRA in Robinhood. I got my regular account in Robinhood, and I got my Webull one, which is just like kind of fun money, like what Newfish does.
Yep. There we go.
They have changed the referral. Very generous. It's could be 5 to 200, and you pick the stock now, but it's mostly $5.
And I forgot to send that to you, Fish, when you signed up for.
I know. And I just sent it to somebody else to sign up, and I didn't even see that. I hope they get something.
So you guys see
So,
Webull
I mean,
probably
I'll touch on
pushing.
a couple of the free things that you can get from the other ones if you want me. The bonuses, like TOS, like if you ever pay for futures traders, if you pay TradingView that $7 a month, you can get lifetime data from TOS. That's Thinkorswim, by the way, from Schwab. And they do have a really nice scanner in there as well that you set up on a computer, but it will notify your phone. Now, I use ZenScans because I'm at a computer all the time. And I want to mention 2-3 things about Fidelity, too. So cash secured puts, best there, bar none, because you get paid the 4% while that cash is out for the cash secured put. You get paid money market. No other broker that I'm aware of does that automatically. So if you're selling a 60-day put, I mean, you get paid 4% that whole, yeah, it's awesome. And then the directed routing window in Fidelity, I still leave that window up even though I trade in Webull because that, like, it's just the most complete information. I do pay Webull for that. I just like how you can see it in Fidelity, but it has more information there. And that directed trading, it can be faster too. So
Nice.
That's it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd say Robinhood is great for starting out for sure.
Does anybody else
Yeah,
have issues with Robinhood? Like,
I
I mean, I've got
fairly
my own personal
serious.
issues with them, but it's got nothing to do with
Yeah,
how the
That's
app
why
works.
I'm biting my tongue, fish, man, because I
yeah,
got issues.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't I don't I don't
I
love
got
them
issues
either.
with Robinhood, but it's got nothing to do with their app.
oh,
And for
uh,
me, it's about people. Like all my best investments long term come from like use like Hims, Netflix, management, and Hood. Yes, they know how to make money. They're very, very good at it. They're a good businessman. But with what happened at the GameStop thing, I always question that. It makes me nervous.
I mean,
I just don't like
I
the people.
I feel like a lot of
It's
people kind of let that GameStop stuff, they letting it go, even though
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
I
kind of
wasn't even in it. It's the integrity of it, I guess. Putting money before people. I've been that person, and I regret. I don't like the person that I was when I did that. Yes, it's maybe they have changed. And I don't ever put it. Christ, us in recovery, we people change. It's just one of those things that I'm always going to be leery about because of.
perhaps they've changed, but I will say this. I opened a Robinhood account, and then in July of last year, I transferred it to Fidelity. I mean, it was only a couple $100 at that time, but the reason I transferred it is because I noticed that Robinhood took out 2 shares of GameStop from my account. While it
they
was only 2 shares, it's not the amount of money; it's the principle involved. If
mhm.
you're going to steal shares from me, and I'm very, very good about my account, I know exactly what I have where. So if you're going to steal shares from me, you're not going to have my business. That's what I thought at the time.
Mhm.
Of course, I have a Robinhood account again.
they took shares from you.
Yeah, man. It took 2 shares. It was GameStop. You know what I mean? Like it was like
Yeah, and,
40.
and he
It
wasn't the
was
only
little.
ones. They did a whole lot of blaming the trans.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
there was
was.
a lot of people moving it direct, not CompuShare, whoever their transfer agent was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they started blaming them, and there were so many middlemen that nobody could. They effectively got away with stealing his shares, yes, because they didn't know there were too many fingers to point for them to
Well,
be
no,
able to
no,
really.
this wasn't during the GameStop saga. This was in July
Oh,
of or June of last year.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
What'd they say?
What do you mean? What they say? They said, "Screw you."
They said you don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Yeah. I said, "Great. I'm gonna do an ACATS over to Fidelity," and they said, "Well, you won't be able to open a Robinhood account for 6 months." I said, "I'm not sure you understand. I don't want to have an account with you right now."
Yeah.
yeah, right. Why would you want to transfer out? Like, oh,
Right.
oh no,
I'm
I
not
want to
sure
get out for
you
a reason. Like, what are you
understand
talking
the
about?
point here.
That was funny.
Like you
You
listen
guys are
to
funny.
me, you know.
Don't they let
But
you
Yeah,
no,
I love
so
that.
transfer out for free?
yeah,
Uh,
you can transfer out for when you transfer, it's for free, but
technically.
fractional shares don't
Exception.
transfer. So theoretically, they sell your fractional shares for cash and then transfer over all the cash. Well, Robinhood likes to take a portion of that cash as well. So something to think
They
Well,
won't
about.
and if
charge
I
you.
can mention too, and this is how they all make money, the payment by order routing. But
Mhm.
when you're doing pre-market stuff in the morning, like Chris and I are doing, that the small cap stuff, that extra half a millisecond, or not half a millis, 500 milliseconds that trade takes through Robinhood can cost you too. And I think Fish had
Oh
seen that
yeah,
one other time. He called me just swearing, and then you didn't want to talk, right? I don't think you even went on mic that day for a while,
yeah.
because you were so steamed about it. But yeah, it's
Because Robinhood
so,
gave me a bad fill because of the timing.
and that's where, and Webull and a lot of them do suffer from this, but like Webull, any of those with
Yeah.
directed trading is going to make a big difference there, especially in the speed.
Well, what I like about Webull is it's like always limit orders. It's like not market, always limit. At least that's how I do it over there. It's just so much easier. But yeah, no. So I currently have. With all that being said, I currently have a Robinhood account. That is my quote unquote fun account. I buy crypto in there just because it's easy for me. And I'll have some fun stock trades in there as well. I have Fidelity as my quote unquote main challenge account. And then just because I feel like Fidelity is a more serious broker. Then I manage a trading account for my dad. That's in Schwab. And then I opened a Webull account as well for my small slash micro cap day trading. And the reason for that is we're just talking about all these other brokers, and they all open at 7. Cool, awesome. I can start trading at 7. That's great. The problem is that I've already missed a lot of the move. So M Finance here explained to me that Webull starts allowing you to start trading at 4 a.m. And while that sounds super early, and yes, it is, that's 4 a.m. Eastern, of course, but it's super early. But what it does is it allows you to start watching stocks, seeing how things are moving. Even though volume's really low, you get an idea, and you can start looking around the market early. And most importantly, you can get in on these stocks. You have to get, by 6 o'clock, you've got a great idea of what's going to move. 6:30, you really know what's going to move, and so you can get in before 7 a.m. when the rest of retail can get in, because we've noticed that around 6:45, 6:50, you'll see a spike in the stocks that are going to move, and that's of course just before 7 o'clock when most of retail can get in. So that's why I use Webull for the small and micro cap day trading.
I know a lot of people be like whenever I talk about Meta Planet or something like that, and I post it, you see people talk about like they can't get into Meta Planet and stuff like that on Robinhood. Is that is Meta available on Webull?
You know what? That is a very good question. Look at that right now. I know
MTPLF, it is not.
it is
It's
not.
not.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Nope. That's part of why, like, I posted that about, some of the different ETFs, because there are ETFs that sent. So there are other ways around it, but yeah, it does not.
I know it's in Chase, but
It is in Chase. So yeah.
yeah.
I know it's on Fidelity and Schwab as well.
Man, it was somebody I posted something, I think you commented on it, Fish. It was a ticker that they couldn't find. Um, and I found it kind of odd that they said they couldn't find it.
It was MTPLF. No, it was MicroStrategy.
It was MicroStrategy, and they was like, I can't find the ticker, or they can't buy it no more, or something like that.
They said they couldn't even they looked it up and they couldn't see it. And I was like, "Are you like?" I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I was like being like serious. Like, are you looking up the right ticker? Here's the symbol. It's MSTR. Perhaps they're putting in MTSR.
Right. Some transparency issue or
Yeah,
vision. Excuse me.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe they were looking up STRK or STRF, which are, you know, totally different things for MicroStrategy. I believe that's like the bond, how you can like buy into the convertible notes or something.
That was weird.
So
Fish, how you
I did
feel?
want to mention, I wanted to mention that some might not know about, dangerous to kind of mention, but for those that don't know, Capital, I think it's Capital Market Elite Group, CMEG, I know them as, based in the Bahamas, but you can get margin day trading under 25K. So I was being based outside of the US, they're not quite limited to the same rules. It is a little bit of a pain to set up an account. But yeah, if you really want to go full degen and get pattern date or be able to day trade on nothing in a margin account, there's that too. So that is CMEG, Capital Market Elites Group.
I might look into that
So
too.
I think
Man,
there's another one too.
man,
I have heard of another.
it's
Michael's
funny because I've
full of gems.
seen them come up on my stock screener quite often too. So maybe I'll just start buying and selling them. That's awesome.
I was gonna ask you, Fish, what you think about the crypto world right now?
Bruh. Woo. Man, am I excited.
You think
Guys,
you think we going up more?
my friend. Not
Just
correct.
getting started.
Yeah, exactly. Baby, strap in,
Let's go.
because
Let's go. I love it.
this ride is still accepting passengers. I'm telling you, we are still accepting passengers. But once we get to moving, you're gonna wish you bought a ticket.
Yeah,
That's
they're
all I can.
already running after the train.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look, guys. So I trade. I trade in live trading in the kingdom every day. We're trying to make it. But everybody knows that I also keep CNBC on in the background, right? And that's just me. That's how I trade, and because I like to stay up on news. And when CNBC is starting to talk about, oh, big money is going to start going into Bitcoin, and we suggest that you retail start buying into Bitcoin too. We think it's going to be $140,000 by the end of the year. Guys, are you kidding me? Seriously, 140? Stop it. It's going 150 to 200 at a conservative level. That's what Bitcoin's going to do. That's my prediction.
I'm watching it
Not too.
117, 117 thousand level hold up right now. I mean,
So
it looks
so that
solid.
what we, it trust me, it's very solid. What we've been doing recently is we've been liquidating shorts. Shorts were liquidating longs for a minute, but the table has turned. We are now well, not we. I wish it was we. So, the big Bitcoin bulls are now liquidating shorts. They just liquidated them all the way up to 121. Um, we did see a spike up to there. So that's what's been happening. Now we're going to go into what I think we're going to go into a little bit of a consolidation period, and then we're going to start shooting back up again. Bitcoin's did its thing, its normal Bitcoin thing over the weekend, and sort of played around. Right now, it's at 117.3, and that's to be expected. Bitcoin has swings over the weekend. It's what it does. Um, but man, I'm telling you, we are coming up. We
I,
are coming up soon. I think royalty you had charted 130 by the end of September.
yeah, I got 130.
Yeah.
I'm looking at coin right now, and the massive boy, coin has ran. Everybody's been watching MSTR. No hate on MSTR, but coin went from, let's see, where was it on the first of July? Oh, it had already ran. But June, mid June, it was sitting at like 231, like low 230s. It's at 419 in a
My biggest
month
trading loss of the year, I bought a put right there on that candle up.
Mm,
up here. The-
mm, that's terrible.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was my biggest loss. I got out, but it was.
Hey, speaking about crypto, I started I mean, I'm late to the party, whatever, but I started an Ethereum position on Friday, and I'll just keep adding to it on red days. But if you look at Ethereum over the past 3 months, as of this current time that we're recording right now, it's up 137% over 3 months.
Well, fish, you see my screen. I got
So,
a I got Ethereum. I mean, it could break out too. Look like a neckline above 4,000.
yeah,
So
and
4,100, it could go.
it looks like it's primed right now. It really does. So, do your own research, take it for what it's worth. But I think that Ethereum is a really good one to get into, especially with all with. I mean, I don't know that much about it, but what I do know is that it has some serious utility to it. Um, so, might be a good thing to look at. The way I look at crypto, like the bigger cryptos, as I call it, like Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. At this point, guys, I mean, Bitcoin has proven itself. And so at this point, it's kind of like, well, you know what? It makes sense to have it rather than not have it, just in case. Because what if in 10 years from now, Ethereum's sitting at $50,000? You're going to be kicking yourself.
I'm just
And
gonna
if I can add to that, so like, I mean, the Trump family, they own Bitcoin, so that in mind. Um, what was I going to say? And its actual utility is better than Bitcoin. It's useful. It's different. It's not made as a payment system, smart contracts, but it does have a lot of really good long-term utility too. So yeah, it's not going anywhere. That said, Fish, I wouldn't be surprised if it does cool off and do a bit of a pullback here. Probably not all the way to 2,500 again, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it, pull back to $3,000 at some point
So
to give you another entry. Kind of like when I said Bitcoin will pull back to 100,000 again. I
Right.
think you'll get another shot at Ethereum under $3,000 this year. One more.
Okay, I like it. So just say
But yeah,
about
just looking at that chart
ETA.
that you had up, that is quite a jump. Ethereum. Yeah. I could be wrong. I hope it keeps going up. Holdings you just bought in, so I hope I'm wrong. But
I'm looking at
No, I hope you're right.
MicroStrategy right now. I know it's a lot
that's
of people
beautiful.
that's into
That's beautiful.
MicroStrategy. The thing was, like, I was hoping that it would break out above this 357 level for you guys, and I think I had shit, I don't remember, like this 515 level. I think I had something around like 480 posted up there as of recently. But the only thing right now, I want to see if it's gonna break out above previous week highs above this 457 level. Um, I know, y'all know I go just strictly based off technicals. Not much news. I see down here in the corner it say MicroStrategy has issued over 3 billion in preferred shares with interest rates reaching 11.5% to finance additional Bitcoin purchases. So, I
Bad
mean,
news anywhere else. Good news for Master. Micro. Sorry.
Exactly. What people don't understand about that is that's actually very good news for MicroStrategy.
Yep.
Every time they do these dilutions, it's the opposite of any other company diluting shares. It's not a bad thing. It actually makes the shares more valuable in the long run because they're diluting shares. They're taking that money. They're purchasing more Bitcoin right now, which we know is only accumulating in value. Therefore, it makes the company more valuable in the long run, which does what to your shares? Makes your shares more valuable in the long run.
I was gonna add on to that. Normally, every time we see something like, MicroStrategy is diluting shares, and Fish, I think this one, me and you was talking real heavily on MicroStrategy back when we kept seeing it bounce around 234 and just
Mm-hmm.
holding
That's what I
around
was
there.
buying. I was
And
buying, bro.
and if I'm not mistaken, this was around the last time they was talking about, they raising capital to buy more Bitcoin or whatnot. And you see, it held the bottom and it took back off towards the upside. So this upcoming week, I'm watching. If it continues to drop, which I mean, $20, a $20 drop is actually a small drop for MicroStrategy in my opinion. Um,
Yes,
but
it is.
yeah, that's a small drop in a large pond for MicroStrategy. But I would watch
I would
for
also.
I
I
might
watch
buy
for a
my
bounce
first
around
MicroStrategy
404.
call this week.
Hey, watch for the bounce around 404. 404 and then 383 is my next actual bottom for that. But for the most part, I think around this 400 level will be pretty decent. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see that the it kind of lines up support and resistance. This
Yep.
little box right here kind of lines up. So I would definitely watch for a bounce around 404 if it if it happens to drop down that low.
So, hey, I just want to go back real quick because I know we were talking about fear and greed earlier,
Hmm.
and royalty. You just talked about how you and I were speaking about MicroStrategy back when it was 434. So, or 234. Excuse me.
234, yeah.
Yeah. So back then, I was a MicroStrategy buyer, right? And my average cost on MicroStrategy right now is 237, I think.
So
And
you almost
I
got
think
it.
I've
You
got
almost got it right there on that bottom.
yeah, exactly, man. Because when you watch the TA, you can dude, you and trying to make it have taught me a lot about TA, bro. I'm telling you. And when you watch the TA doesn't lie, man. And another thing, guys, that I want to say is when everyone else is fearful and selling, that's when I go and buy. I like to get deals. That's what I look for, man.
Be
And
fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are.
exactly. Warren Buffett, you know what? He made a couple of dollars in the market. He might know a thing or two. You know, I'm not saying I'm Warren Buffett by any means. I'm nowhere near that. I'm not even his toenail clippers. But at the same time, it happens to be a good rule to follow. You know, so
Never
when,
lose money. His first rule is a decent one too.
yeah,
I hear.
exactly. Hey, if you're in a trade and it starts going south, I mean there are hedge funds that work this way. If they're in trades and the minute that the trade goes red, they exit. You know, and as long as they get more winning trades than they do red, they're good.
Yes, sir.
My biggest tip was to always, I tell a lot of people, if you zoom out to the daily time frame or the weekly time frame, most stocks are gonna move at a progressionary angle. So even if it's dropping, I can draw a line like this. And this is just, let me sharpen it up. All right. So most stocks are gonna move. I mean, yeah, you can get a sharp dropper like that, but most are gonna move, at 45-degree angles to the downside and back to the upside. If you were just estimate, how a stock is gonna move from right here. This is 7/21. This is August 1st. This is September 8th. You can at least expect for a stock to move, gradually because it's going to always increase when you base it in time. So I don't see how people kind of factor in like, oh, it's dropping, but eventually it's going to come back up. You just got to be able to have the patience and the time to allow this angled movement back to the upside to play itself back out because it's not going to go down forever.
And
So
that's
Yeah, it's
where I
important to have
had to
a.
like kind of stop doing futures. I like to have more equity play to let them come to me because if I just have one chart to watch, then I am trying to, exactly what you just said, trying to kind of force it in there. And, so I like having that because they always do come back to you. You're right. And as soon as they do, you're like, crap, I was going to wait for now and now I'm down 10%. And every single time you do it. And
so I mean,
It's
everybody
important
hate
to have
missing
a.
the boat.
Yeah, for sure. It's important to have a long-term mindset. That's important.
Agreed. That's definitely agreed.
And I'm
Uh,
glad you brought up the daily chart too, because when I first started day trading, partially because of futures, I was stuck on 3 minute, 5 minute, but then I was doing that when I went to equities too, and you can't do that. Yeah, you really do have to zoom out that daily chart. It tells you a whole lot more. You can look at the other ones for entry and stuff. I was not doing that enough. So, and your charts really helped me with that, so I appreciate it.
no problem. No problem. Uh, let's see. We talked about a couple of things so far. I know trying to make it. He normally likes to display some of his charts. Do you have anything you want to bring up, draw some attention to, some confluence
Yeah,
levels?
I've been charting a couple charts here. I have the most interesting one that I kind of want to bring up, to be honest, is Google. I want a lot of people to kind of, Google is an interesting name. Look, going into the next week, probably even the next couple months here. My fault, guys. I was on futures. Futures is ripping, by the way. So if you long there, you're doing really well.
Let me know when you got your chart
Yeah.
up. I'm finna
Hold
look at
on,
it. I'm
boom,
finna
boom.
peek at it real quick. Oh yeah, NQ.
Almost there.
NQ's
I'm looking
up.
at the wrong one.
Hold
Hold
on. Oh,
on.
my
Boom.
chart. I got my NQ chart up right now, trying to check and see.
Good. Now I see trying to start.
Okay, let me switch back to his then.
There's a little pullback here that I needed. All right, so boom. Google. Google is very interesting on this daily chart. This is a speculation play, a little bit of an idea that I got going on right here. There's a little bit of a gap that we have around 192 to 203. This gap we lost around the last high that we had in the bull market when we dumped from there. we had opened this giant gap, and we're finally coming around to, maybe try to refill that gap. Judging by the weakness that I'm seeing near these highs and the RSI giving the message that it's giving, I'm thinking that we probably come near that 191 zone at most, and then from there probably reject and come down to make a handle for this possible cup and handle formation that I see on the daily chart. That cup and handle formation is what's going to consolidate the price action even longer and extend it to a point where it's going to consolidate at a higher zone and be able to build up enough support to break through that 200 level and possibly make new highs and make new support above that gap, right? So what we're going to look for is into next week, right? You want to see Google start to head towards those 190s if it can. If there's no power toward there, you're going to want to see where we can start breaking down towards that handle, right? I'm looking for a handle depth around possibly 175 to a minimum of 165. 185 is where we're going to start looking at the price action, seeing if it wants to turn down from here or if it wants to continue up, right? That all depends on the market, and we're going to see how that plays out. That's one of the interesting charts that I have been looking at. Another one that I've been looking at is AMD. I know AMD is a big one. I haven't looked at AMD in a long time, so it's
AMD
good
been
to
an absolute monster.
a beast, 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 beast. I love AMD because it's one of those stocks that, it caught everybody off guard. And if you go to the weekly chart, all it was doing was consolidating a huge move to the downside. And what we call this in the trading world is a typical falling wedge. But what it means in the finance world is that a bunch of sellers were getting compressed out, compress, squeeze to the point where buyers just came in and swooped these discounts. And then you see this breakout that we see right here, right? And eventually, this breakout that we had took us to a gap fill on the daily chart at 152 to 159. We eventually filled that gap and rejected back down. What I want to see is a nice pullback, a healthy pullback down to at least 145, 146 to fill that gap that we opened to the upside, and then maybe some support to 144 if we continue to the downside. If we hold 144, I can see AMD pushing towards that next gap at 175 on that 144 support. If 144 support does not hold, there is a nice room down. So let's see what AMD wants to do here. It all starts at that 144 level if we dump down from here. But if we continue holding these levels, that next gap is going to be that target that we want to watch. 175-ish around there. Yeah, but this is a beautiful chart. We're just seeing a higher time frame formation playing out. And when these formations play out, this is something that you see play out during days. That's why the pump up has been extremely, it's been nonstop. It's been back to back to back to back, just going and going and going. And that's because this breakout is higher time frame breakout, so it's gonna definitely play out through multiple days and possibly even weeks, judging by the time frame that we're seeing this breakout on, right?
Bro, even
So
your
yeah,
RSI going crazy.
even the RSI is going insane, right? So all the way up to the weekly chart, 68. You remember, guys, when we were at 29 RSI, nobody wanted to buy AMD, and now look at us. So this serves as a lesson, you know what I mean, for anybody that kind of missed out on this because of what people say online. Don't guide yourself by the sentiment that you see online. At the end of the day, like we brought up in the conversation earlier, market makers and institutions, they don't want you to win. So whatever news is going to be put out there about a certain stock and the way it looks, it correlates with the news, right? AMD downgraded. Oh, and AMD is dumping 10% every day, right? That looks really bad and makes nobody want to buy it. But little did we all know, well, us analysts, we understand and we know, but little did other people know is that there was a buying opportunity there. So this is great to see, and this is a beautiful breakout playing out here. That's all I got here for now. I don't want to spend too much time because I actually went chart crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I could stay here for hours with you guys.
Did you have any more moves on BA, or are you probably just backed out BA for a little
Oh,
bit?
I'm on BA. Beautiful update for BA right here then. So BA guys, I know we're all like, damn, trying to make it. We hit your 233 target. This is freaking insane. I can't believe it. What do we do now? But don't worry, I'm here. You know what I mean? We're gonna figure this out together. We're seeing a lot of rejection around 233. We couldn't really hit that 234 level, so there wasn't enough power from the buyers to push towards that gap zone. There's a gap from 234 to 243, which is the next level that you want to look
I
for
can
when it
do it,
comes
but
to a long term move. But for right now, what you want to see is a pullback in the price because it has been moving very strongly from this 198 low. It's been nonstop pumping towards that 233 zone. Now it needs to pull back and find some support. I want to see FEG support hold around 221. 0.382 Fibonacci retracement wouldn't be bad either. This 221 level that I got right here, I got it from, let me see, it's a weekly level. So it holds some more weight. Let me see here. Yeah, there we go. So this level that I got, it was a resistance level from February, right? Around February time when we were consolidating for the next leg up, and then the fake out to the downside on BA, we had a lot of rejection around this 221 zone. So now that we're coming back down to retest it, mind you, it's been a while since we hit 221 in BA, so we're gonna come down and retest that rejection level. This rejection zone should hold that support, and if it holds that support, we're bullish to the next level, which is 234 to 243. So in short term, just honestly watch this level below 221. It can retrace as deep as 212 and possibly wick down to 209 and then finally holds 212 support for continuation. So just watch it anywhere between 221 and 209. That's what you want to watch. Worst case scenario, 209 hits, but that would be for a possible gap fill down to 206. That's a whole different story. If we start breaking these levels, don't touch it. But for now, we're gonna watch for these 230 levels. Sorry, these 220 levels and these 215 levels.
Hey, BA it's been a hell of a mover, man.
It's been a ripper, brother. Right? Like I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It caught me off guard the way it was moving. Like I'm
So
talking daily chart analysis. You expect it to play out in not as long as not as little as 2-3 days. You expect them to play out weeks. Maybe some time it takes. But these movements have been insane.
I see you got some up. I've been watching Meta heavy, and the reason why is because
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to
You
maybe
want short?
test. I'm still short on it, but I know earnings is coming up pretty soon. I think on the 31st or somewhere around there. But um, I'm watching it. I know Netflix. I don't think it reacted the way we thought. I thought it was going to go up a little bit more, but I'm kind of interested on Meta. It looked like you got another
I like
shoulder that
Meta.
could be forming for more
That's exactly
downside.
what I'm looking at here. Yeah, exactly. If we get I'm looking at this level that we're holding. It's very interesting to see exactly where the buyers came in to save the price action. Normally in the market when I'm looking at the price action, right? Just for everybody that's tuning in, you know, when I look at Wix to me is the way of institutions and the big buyers to or the big sellers to basically, hey, kind of stop you out and get you out. Wherever the body of the candle closes, that's in reality where the support is at, in my opinion. So what I'm looking at is personally, I feel like we're holding some resistance support. We're flipping it here, and that's where the buyers stepped in to hold that 700 zone. So they're defending $700 with all their might, right? Ultimately, I'm bearish below $700. I feel like if we make $700 rejection, this can go down as far as possibly 670, 682 to 676, possibly all the way down to 662. Since you mentioned earnings are coming soon, it definitely does rely on that. A possible volatility is going to be in Meta in these next couple days here, maybe even weeks. I don't know exactly when the earnings is, but whenever we do come to that conclusion, it's definitely going to be a make or break for this price here.
Yeah, I'm watching it going into earnings. It could be Meta was probably one of my best earning plays. I think I put like 200 in one time and got like 1,000 or 1,200 out. Like I like the moves that Meta has on earnings whenever they do decide to rip back up to the upside. So I wouldn't be
That's the
surprised to
thing. Yeah,
see.
it's true.
I wouldn't be
It's
surprised to
true.
see Meta. Um, Let me see. I have my chart.
I think Meta will have good forward guidance. By the way,
Yeah,
yeah, they have a lot of interesting stuff in the tank, man. A lot of interesting stuff in the tank, and a lot of projects that are pretty secret. Also dealing with
Bro,
AI.
what's so funny that you mentioned about that fish? And I can't even speak on it too much because I signed an NDA, but I did a little project for Meta one time. They have a lot in their pocket, bro. That's about all I can say, bro. Invest. Long term, Meta's gonna see $1,000 a note.
Yeah, I believe it.
yeah. I'm
I
looking
can't
at.
even say I wish I could say a lot because I'm too young to be signing NDAs and holding secrets. Like what the fuck is this? But
You are
I
way
I
too
know
young. You are way too young to have an NDA, sir.
right?
Except
Oh man.
Zuckerberg was your age when he created Meta. I'm just gonna
Right.
say. So,
So why do you think he didn't care about taking me in for testing, bro?
Right?
oh, I was wondering why you hadn't created a multi-billion-dollar.
Yeah, man, your expectations, man, live up to them. You're not doing what you're supposed to do at your age. Oh man.
So Trina, you got what 662 marked out as
Yeah, that's a
next level
nice
support.
that's a ultimate zone of support. I do have a beautiful FEG right here. The only reason I didn't mark out this FEG is because it's mitigated. I usually like looking at FEGs that are unmitigated, don't get touched. Whenever they don't get touched, they have a better chance of supporting and then not breaking through. So, this is a good level of support within the FEG. So I wouldn't be surprised if buyers do step in just a little bit there. But if sellers are coming in full fledged, 662 is my level for sure.
I got support around that area too. So
Beautiful.
we pretty much lined up. I got support around 674 and 669. So it's pretty close.
Yeah, we're giving it a little bit of room, a little bit of room, not nothing too crazy. I mean, since we're on the topic of AI chips and all this other stuff, what do you guys think about AVG? Oh, I want to know exactly what's going on with it now, where we're heading. I feel like 300 top is gonna be the level that we're gonna like. 300 top is my level. I don't think it goes past 300. I want to
I,
see what you guys think.
I got 296.
For right now, for right now, yeah.
And we
296, that's nice.
yeah, we keep pushing up. I got 296 right now. 296, 298, somewhere around there before we just start looking at, a rejection or to see because I mean, it's extremely high right now and it's been going in a straight line up, so
Yeah, a rising wedge. You know what I mean? It's a typical rising wedge. It dumped down strong, and then it made a whole new leg up. And the leg that it's made, it's basically unsustained at this point because the RSI is showing a different, picture than what the price action is showing. You're getting a huge divergence here. Eventually, the momentum is going to die down, and I have 251 as the level of support for a dump. If we end up breaking down those from those levels, it'd be nice because 251 would also help out with gap fill at 253. I know there's a bunch of gaps in AVGO, but it'd be nice if we start filling at least one of those gaps.
AVGO
so, but
does
don't
what the fuck it
forget,
wants to
they
do.
had a $10 billion buyback before the end of the year.
Jesus Lord. I mean, that explains this whole
So,
entire.
yeah, I mean, that momentum, like, I don't think it's going to pull back the way that you think because they're doing it for themselves. That's a lot of money in buyback.
Hey,
That's all
what
I'm
That
day
is
saying.
a
that
lot of
earnings
money.
on right there?
You said which one?
I was saying what days that earnings calling for? The earnings date down there?
We got
August.
Thursday, August 28th.
Hmm. So if any pullbacks come within the next few weeks, that'll be the time to start taking long calls headed back into earnings.
1,000%.
It's the best stock in the
1,000%.
stock market.
I love the stock. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Nancy Pelosi knew what the hell she was doing.
Not just because of that train. I mean, they offer a good dividend. It's growing. They got volume. Find something to hate about it.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You really can't. You know what I mean? There's a lot of competitors in the game, and this is one of them, bro. They're up there, bro. They have a lot to offer.
Hey, watch Bitcoin right here.
I'm looking at MNQ for a little dump right here, man. I have an FVG level at 23,245. I hope this happens.
And like I
I've been
said,
looking at Bitcoin too.
117 is my support, and it's well 116,982 is my
Oh
support.
my God, what a dump! I didn't even know we were dumping, bro.
Bro,
Eh,
I went short on NQ.
I was looking
what?
at I was looking at Bitcoin on your watch list going down. I was like, okay, let me go look at Bitcoin real quick and see what's going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think I
Let's
have. What do I have for Bitcoin? I have a little daily thing going on here. Yeah, there we go. So we have an FVG that we have not tested on Bitcoin. I think a pullback is very much almost guaranteed here, right? We've been talking about it with Fish too. Fish is, we've been saying that
yeah.
Bitcoin's probably gonna have to lay back just a little bit before it makes its next leg up. But I don't think it goes below 112K. I don't think it breaks below 110K in my opinion.
Go
If it
ahead.
does go down to that level, there's a huge order block there, and it's a swing order block, so it's gonna be a strong one.
We just have to see how it respects that 112,482 moving average.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
So,
Yeah,
One thousand percent.
once it gets down into that FEG, I'm gonna start buying more Bitcoin. Like not that I don't have like my weekly buy set up, but that's when I like buy more Bitcoin.
there you go.
As I
Answer.
said, I love getting a sale.
All right. Well, fellas, we've been on here almost what 2 hours. We had an hour 45 minutes, and I think we didn't drop a ton of dope information. In this hour and a half that we've been on here. So, I think we go ahead and wrap it up. So, all of you good guys can go ahead and get back to your families and enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Before we leave, I always like to ask you guys: is there anything that you want to drop to the people that's going to be watching, give them some good advice heading into this next week as far as trading goes.
Yeah, I'll start. Be careful if you're trading earnings. Um, Earnings are volatile, especially with the volatility that we are naturally have in the market already. Um, yes, you can make a lot of money. Yes, you can lose a lot of money as well. So if you are going to trade earnings, make sure that you've done your due diligence.
So, anybody else pass a little
I
knowledge
feel like
for it?
I feel like one of the things that I'm starting to really think about now is now that I got called out of my Beto Bitcoin ETF was take if you make money, if you make good money and like high risk, high reward play, taking that profit you make and then putting it into a longer term investment is the best way to secure those profits. So if you do play earnings, you make a crap ton of money, whether it's on Google or on Tesla or whatever. If you make a lot of money on those earnings calls, whatever it is you're doing, take that money and then put it into a long term investment, dividends, whatever it is that you can. So that way you really secure those gains. Don't try to take your earnings that you make and then try to double it with the next earnings because that's how you're going to blow your account pretty quick. So I would say take those risky plays that you make money on, put it into a longer term aspect of things, and you're going to thank yourself in the next 5, 10 years easily.
Facts, facts, facts. Anybody else with the gems?
1,000%. Just be very aware of a lot of things that are happening in the market. We have a lot of earnings. We have a lot of testimony on Tuesday, volatility. Don't go blindly into something. Don't fall in love with a position or don't be biased to one side of the market. Always have room for moving around. Oh, if it's bull, bull. If it's bear, bear. You know what I mean? And that's for the moment always. Especially if you're a day trader.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
It's
Yeah.
it's just what Fridge is saying. It's good to always have long term investments. That's where you're going to win at the end of the day, and not be panicking of, oh my gosh, did I buy at the top or not? Things will come back. If you
That's
pick
right.
a reputable company, it will come back. There's no point in looking at week to week what it's happening. Hold it, sit, don't do anything.
Solid,
Literally.
solid.
Dead men make the best investors for that reason.
Mhm.
hmm Look at Warren Buffett, man. All he does is buy and hold.
And buy the dip.
Yep.
Yeah. And if I had to
Even
add
if the
on to
dip is
any,
multiple years on Oxy, because I could use that cover. Anyways,
if I had to add on to all the gems that you guys passed along, my thing that I want to pass forward this week is don't let don't let life distract you from what's important. If you're locked into this market, you feel me? Like we all got stuff that go on. Things that happen in our personal life, or bad trades, or whatever it is. Don't let that distract you from the goal that you have down the road. Just the same way we always preach about, zooming out on a bigger time frame on charts and looking at the daily, the weekly, things of that nature. Like, don't let that a bad day or a bad week distract you from your daily and your weekly time frame. We all in this together. We do this for a reason, and it's financial freedom. It's to make money. It's to be able to invest and set up long term goals. So take that into consideration when you go into this next week. Every day, every week isn't going to always happen in the market like we want it, but that's just part of the game. We take losses, but we also get wins too. So Journal everything that you do. Journal your trades, your losses, your wins, your psychology behind your trades. Everything that you can think of, you want to journal it because repetition builds. Um, it builds, a everyday routine, and that's what good traders have is they have a routine. They take the same trades off the same signals, off the same levels. It's repetition, and that's what makes you consistency. Doing the same thing every time. It's boring, but it works. So, um, again, I want to appreciate everybody for tapping into the Kingdom Podcast, the Round Table Talk with the Pillars of the Kingdom. I want to say I appreciate y'all for giving me a little bit of your time to share all of you guys' brilliant minds with the world, and just spend an hour or two with your boy and just chop it up with stocks. So I appreciate y'all.
Thanks,
So
man. We
Thank you very
appreciate it too,
much.
bro.
Of course.
Yeah, man.
Definitely
Yeah.
want
Man,
to.
as always.
yep. So look forward to vibing with everybody, tomorrow, and we're gonna make this money. And if you're looking for a trading family to get down with, definitely tap in with the Kingdom. You can check it out in my bio if you're on After Hours, trying to make it, David Knight, Perunga. All of us have links that get you into the kingdom. So like, hey, we for real about this, but we're also accountable for each other. We hold each other up, and we make sure that everybody's being on their best behavior when it comes to making this money. So definitely tap in if you want to join in. We'll catch you guys later on. I'll see y'all when I see y'all.